You recently wrote a column describing spinning a globe in your office and feeling as though the international order stands on the brink of collapse.
If we look at the bigger picture, I think for all of us, what was the introduction of this forum as well, the international law is the one that we should stick to, because this is rules that protect the majority of the countries in the world, which are small countries. The set of rules and principles that we have agreed to, and we need to stick to them as the core principles to defend them, in order to prevent wars also in the future. So one is to mediate about the conflicts that are going on, but also the other part is also the prevention of future conflicts.
The key ally to, frankly, everybody is the United States of America. Clearly, they've given Qatar recently, because of the attacks by Iran and Israel, a security guarantee. But they've also been the backbone of the transatlantic alliance. So I don't know whether you've read the latest national security strategy that dropped just over the last 24 hours. It definitely didn't treat you as friends. And I just wonder how you think this. Am I reading it wrong? Do you think that it's just trying to tell you to stand on your own 2 feet a bit more? Or are you essentially being censured? Let me just read a little bit. Depicts Europe as facing civilisational erasure at the hands of immigrants and its mainstream leaders, such as yourself, Foreign Minister. It says the United States will cultivate resistance to Europe's mainstream leaders, and asserts that many of their governments, quote, trample on basic principles of democracy to suppress opposition. I was at the Munich Security Conference when I heard Vice President J.D. Vance initiate this kind of strategy by the new U.S. administration. So I'm wondering, all these months later, I'm going to ask you first as High Representative and then you, Foreign Minister, what do you make of this? I mean, Europe's the enemy, you're the enemy.
No, I didn't read it like this. I actually read the European part. I haven't read the rest of it. Of course, there's a lot of criticism, but I think some of it is also true. If you look at Europe, it has been underestimating its own power towards Russia, for example. I mean, we should be more self-confident. That's for sure. And U.S. is still our biggest ally. And there, I read it as well, that we are still the biggest ally, and it's in the interest of the United States as well that Europe lasts, and that we are really still the ally and working together for these things. I think we haven't always seen eye to eye on different topics, but I think the overall principle is still there. We are the biggest allies, and we should stick together.
Okay. You, Foreign Minister, how do you see it? Civilisational erasure. And they do mention, obviously, immigration as an issue. Your country has had quite a successful recent experiment or strategy with immigration. And actually, your GDP is growing. And I spoke to your own Prime Minister at the UNGA earlier this year, who sort of laid out the strategy of immigration into Spain. So what do you make of being told that your sort of parties, your sort of Europe is facing civilizational erasure if it doesn't change those issues, which are big in Europe too, the immigration issue?
When you're a European, you are constantly asked for what the President of the United States says or what is the foreign policy of the United States. And I think that what we should really be interested right now in Europe is what we can do in this very challenging moment in world history, in which for some countries, one of them is Russia, war has become a normal tool of foreign policy. It's not the only one. In the Middle East, Israel thinks exactly the same way. But we are going to design with whatever peace will come one day, and I'm sure that there is a future in peace for the Ukrainian people, we are to design the future security scheme of Europe and also of the world. If a war of aggression has a reward, tomorrow's war, and certainly tomorrow's Europe, is going to be more unstable. Mm-hmm. No one will be out of the risk of waking up and realizing that a strong neighbor wants a part of its sovereignty or of its territorial integrity. So we welcome the efforts of peace of the President of the United States. We think it's good. Spain is a reliable ally in NATO and is a vital ally in NATO. We have a historical deployment of soldiers, aeroplanes, ships in the eastern flank. It's more than 2,000 soldiers. The air security of the Baltic states is guaranteed also because of our aeroplanes. We've been in Iceland. We are right now in Latvia, in Lithuania. We have soldiers in Slovakia, in Romania. And we are going to meet, as we have always done, all the commitments that NATO has asked to Spain when it comes to capacities. The only thing is that we can do that with 2.1% of our GDP. We don't need to do it with 5%.
In Ukraine war, there are no both parties because there is one aggressor and one victim. And that's why, if we want to have a sustainable peace, a long-lasting peace, we should make sure that the concessions are on the aggressor's side, that the aggression does not pay off, it's not rewarded. If we look at the last 100 years, Russia has attacked 19 countries, some as many as 3 or 4 times. None of these countries has ever attacked Russia. So putting limitations and stress on Ukraine actually does not bring us long-lasting peace. And, there are examples from the history, from this part of the world. I mean, when Iraq invaded Kuwait, it was exactly the same case. I mean, if you look at the speeches...
There was a military confrontation. I covered it. America got 500,000 troops.
If Russia ended the war in Afghanistan when they ran out of money to finance this war. So they want us to believe that, they're doing fine, nothing to see here, we can outlast you. It's not really true if you and by the way, in that national security paper that you were talking about, there is that, Americans are saying that Europe has a huge leverage, regarding Russia. So we shouldn't also underestimate our own power and overestimate Russia's strength. People in the West who will offer you something that you didn't have before. So you walk away with more than you had. We have seen this many, many times, and always it brings more war. So right now we should not walk into those traps, and we should concentrate on what we are doing, helping Ukraine to defend itself, pressuring Russia with the sanctions so that they would actually go from pretending to negotiate to the point where they need to negotiate.